You want to take this first?
His whole situation is just really puzzling, right? So we know he has some like past history issues on Wikipedia. How much that factors in, I doubt it would because it was from an extended period of time ago. And I think we've seen, especially in the media today, like that stuff's not as relevant as we would think it would be.
As it
Um,
should be too.
yeah, yeah. Like it was 20 years ago when he like made a mistake, like at a bowling alley or whatever. Like the dude's he's grown up. I'm sure he's matured from it and whatnot. And then you see the things like maybe he's not interviewing well. Well, there's reports that he's been interviewing fine. So I don't like understand like what we're missing out on or what information that we're not understanding about him as to why he's not. And one thing that I'm thinking is that maybe people are just thinking that they're scared of what happened to Nagy, and they're just thinking, well, maybe it's Andy. I mean, it is Andy Reid's offense, right? Like Andy Reid is the mastermind behind this, and they're thinking maybe he's just sitting on the coattails of, what he's been doing. I don't think he would leave and then get a head coaching job. I think all the coaching jobs are up right now. Like everyone has a coach, as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah, and everyone's really kind of hired assistants too. So the thing with him is that it's puzzling, right? Because the past, it's ugly. What the actions that he had 20 years ago, like you can't do anything but condemn them because they weren't good actions. But Vance Joseph also had a little situation in his past that wasn't great, and he got hired by the Broncos. Matt Patricia had one when he was an aerospace engineer student in college, and that one wasn't the most favorable. And he got a head coaching job, and people kind of swiped it under the rug. So it can't be just that. And then the interviewing, well, like okay, I guess I imagined that, but I saw Nick Sirianni's press conference. You can't tell me that Nick Sirianni interviews well. He just didn't feel like a guy that was comfortable talking in front of people or communicating from a standpoint of these are the things I need to get done. Now, he might be great at the X's and O's and talking to players about X's and O's. I have no clue about that. But when it comes to just talking about big picture stuff, he struggled to communicate in that situation. So there is some weird press conference stuff that way. The thing I've always said was because the Andy Reid stuff, maybe it's that. What if, and I was thinking about this idea last month when Deshaun Watson was heating up and people were saying Miami. What if Miami fired Chan Gailey, right? Or they parted ways mutually with Chan Gailey, whatever it was, and Eric Bieniemy's contract was expiring. What if Eric Bieniemy, who Deshaun Watson wanted, went to Miami, where Brian Flores, defensive coach, he's going to have full control, full credit for the offense. That would help them trade. That would incentivize Deshaun Watson to want to come there even more, ran the entire offense there. Then nobody could discredit Eric Bieniemy in any sort of fashion. And I think then, even regardless of what your opinion is, and he would be a shoo-in to get a head coaching job the next year because they would be great with Deshaun Watson. So I threw out that idea. I don't know how plausible it is. I don't even think it's possible anymore because I think Miami hired a couple guys to be their offensive coordinator. I think they have a run game coordinator, pass game coordinator type setup. So it's not plausible anymore, but I thought that could be something.
Yeah, it is weird, and it's not like he's not getting interviews, right? He has gone on tons of interviews, so it is weird. And people were kind of so after the Chiefs Niners Super Bowl, everyone was like, okay, like Eric Bieniemy is probably going to get a job this off season, and then he didn't. So it was all right. He'll definitely get one next year, and now it is this year, and he still has not got one. So maybe it's interviewing. It's pretty hard to speculate on exactly what's going on. My thing is that I'm sticking by is it's probably the Andy Reid tree, and maybe teams are concerned that he looks better than he is because it's Andy Reid's offense, and Andy Reid, wherever he goes, his offense has been amazing. Like that's just the matter of the fact, and so they don't credit Bieniemy as much.
And ultimately, we might never have enough information to know why. And from my opinion, from where I stand, I think he's deserving of a head coaching job.
Yeah,
but I don't know Eric Bieniemy. I don't know what his job is in Kansas City. I don't know what Andy Reid does. I don't know how he interviews. I don't know any of that information. So I can't tell you that he should get a job because I don't have the context or the information to tell you that. Just from where I stand, I think he deserves one, and I hope he gets one. He seems like past aside, he seems like a pretty nice guy from the way he interviews and everything, passionate about football. So
I'm with you.